To make a video on this TV cabinet here that I made. I was going to hold off on this until I actually have a curtain going down in front of my TV, which is the plan, but you've already seen it twice in my book review videos, so I figured I should make a video on it because I did make it, and because I'm going to be doing one anyway. I can split it up into an update video for the curtain. And I actually made this before the raw wood shelf, and you can actually see that in this video probably. But like I said, I was waiting for the curtain, and that kind of fell through. I need a sewing machine. I just don't want to spend a lot of money on one. So I found one on Craigslist, but then I got really sick, so I'm going to make this video now. So I got sick of having my TV just on here. The coffee table there, it looked really out of place, and I wanted to be able to cover it up so I don't have to look at it. I don't think TVs are pretty. If you've got a nice modern home, sure, you can have the sleek kind of TV thing as your main piece. You might have been able to guess by now, that's not my style, so I'm going to be covering this up with a curtain. And to do that, you need to have a cabinet. So I came up with this thing. But first of all, I need to find a way to mount them. TV mounts generally $100 and over, but on Boxing Day, Best Buy, they had a sale, so this thing only cost me $30, which is pretty good. It just came in this little box, and then I was like, what, can that really mount my TV? Answer is obviously yes. It comes in two pieces. One is a plate that you screw to the back of your television. Obviously you have to remove the stand too, so that because you don't need it. So that screws onto the back of your television. The other one is like a swivel unit, which is actually really thin. I thought it would be wider, braced against the wall, but it's not, and it just screws into a stud on your wall. And that swivels, and the two hook together, and then you can tighten them with a socket wrench to pick what angle you want. And that allows me to do this. So I can pull it out, angle it towards you guys, or towards my bed if I like. Oh. Yes, and that is, I guess, the second thing. I just hit the power button there. I don't actually use it as a TV. I use it as a second monitor, and I can just watch Netflix or watch DVDs on it. And the cords just run through a slit in the bottom there. So let me just turn that off again. Put that back. Okay. So that's what that does. And so for a while I just had this mounted here, which was almost worse than having it there, because it was very like, hi, I'm a TV, I'm on your wall kind of a thing. But so the next step was to build a cabinet, and I built it out of 2 pine boards. And obviously the first step, just making the box, simple thing. I didn't use L brackets or anything or braces. I just drilled pilot holes, and then drilled a little bit of a wider hole so I could sink the screw in so you can't see the screws as much. Made this box just 4 pieces of wood, and then I added 2 back pieces, which are actually how it's mounted to the wall, just drilling straight through those into the stud. So those were added to the same idea there, and that actually gave me all of the stability that I needed, rather than using brackets of some kind. So that just big long boards along the back, that's how it's mounted on, and they give the stability there. Then I took a jigsaw and I cut a slit out. Oh, you can't see it here, but it's on the bottom board against the back board. And that's where the HDMI cord from the laptop and the power cord go, so that they don't have to come over the front of this here. That would look really, really bad. And I did that as that step because I just sort of thought, oh, how am I going to do that? Sort of as an afterthought, which I should have thought about it first. But I didn't. So I added that way, and it actually worked out really well. And then the last thing I had to do basically was put this front board here. Because I was originally going to do Roman blinds, I need something to hide that. I may or may not do it, but even if I just add like a curtain going across, I don't want you to be able to see the top, so this works really well. So I drew this design here out onto the board, and then I just used a small gouge to just carve out the lines here. Even though I was originally going to paint it, I figured I'll go the extra step and it will look a lot better. And it turned out a lot better than it would have if I had painted it. And yes, this is what worked out. These two symbols here are actually part of a Norse symbol called aett, which means helm of Otts. It's basically a protection symbol, if you want to oversimplify it. And these are just part of it. It actually looks like this. But I want to have the full symbol on the curtain, if at all possible, so it'll make a little bit more sense tying it in, instead of just having like sort of like bastardized chop off one of the arms kind of thing. Then I have Freya's aett in these 4 runes here and these 4 runes here, 8 runes in total. The Elder Futhark, which is like the runic alphabet, is broken up into 3 aetts, or three sections, and each is assigned to a certain deity. So this is Freya's aett. It's the first aett. So it doesn't actually say anything. If it's equivalent of writing like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, kind of. If this was that's not what they actually correspond to. But if that was the English alphabet, that's all it would say. And it would look like you're in like a child's sort of nursery or something. But I didn't write anything. I did it for Freya's aett. And then Freya's adopted son, Thor, his hammer Mjolnir, of course. Most people know that actually now because of the Marvel movies. But this is his hammer, Mjolnir, and sort of an oversimplified carving there in the middle. So that's the carving, and I just did a border around it. Then I mounted this just by drilling 2 holes, one into the back of the board here, and one into this top board here. And then I just took a little dowel, used a hammer to put it in, and then I just used a mallet and pushed the whole board just onto it. So it's just held together with friction, basically. If I were to get a mallet and knock it on from this side, this board would come off. But it would be actually really difficult. Like, it was really, really difficult to get this board on. So if I really wanted to, I could take it off. But I don't. And then I just stained the whole thing, and it came out with this cool-looking, almost tropical wood. Not the color on the can, but I like it more than the color on the can. The color on the can was like a dark color, almost like the color of this laptop here. But I like this tropical wood look better, so I'll be staining other things the same color in the future because I really like the way it looks. So once it was dried, I took the TV off of the swivel mount, and then I mounted this to the wall just by drilling straight through those backboards with holes that I'd already pre-drilled into the studs. And that was a really dumb idea because I should have gotten someone to help me and hold this thing up. Probably should have gotten 2 people to help me. I didn't. I did it all by myself. One of the other reasons I threw out my back. Really not smart of me. But it worked. I basically just had this thing propped up on a bunch of books that were sitting on here. But yeah, when you're trying to hold that thing up with one hand and screw something in with the other, it's way too heavy. And I shouldn't have done it. Bad idea. So, learn from my mistake, people. If you're ever putting up a cabinet, get help. Yeah, don't be too proud to ask for help because you will end up going to the chiropractor. So once it was mounted, I just put the TV back on, which was actually pretty difficult because of this board here. And I'm left with this, and it works really well in terms of the look, and I'm sure that once it has a curtain going in front, it will be even better. It gives me an extra shelf, as long as I don't put something super heavy on it. I've just got a couple books. This stone here weighs like nothing. Christmas cards and some change. Even though I'm sure if I did put something heavy on it, I'm sure the whole thing wouldn't just come off the wall, but just to be on the safe side, I want to keep it simple. And so now I have my little setup here, and this is what I have left. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, critiques of this cabinet here. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I really, really would appreciate any feedback that I can get on this. I'll be making a second video for this once I put the curtain on it as well. Yeah, so like the video, and you can subscribe for more videos. Lots of different kind of content coming out there in the next little bit. All right.